Sometimes the person you pushed away is the very one you'll silently search for in everyone else. Sigma males aren't the kind of men who need to be seen. They don't chase validation, they don't beg for love, and they don't lose themselves just to keep someone else comfortable. They're the ones who walk away quietly when they're disrespected, unappreciated, or misunderstood. No drama, no last words, just gone. And that is what makes their absence so loud. Women often don't realize what they had until it's no longer available. See, Sigma males don't play games or sugarcoat things to be liked. They'll tell you the truth, stand firm in their boundaries, and expect you to show up as your real self. And that's rare. At first it may seem cold or too intense, but after dealing with shallow charm, emotional immaturity, or fake affection, the depth and clarity of a Sigma hits differently. If you're a Sigma male watching this, understand something: your quiet strength, your solitude, your refusal to be manipulated, that's not a flaw, that's your power. You're not hard to love, you're just hard to control. And most people confuse the two. In this video, we're diving deep into 12 brutal truths behind why women regret losing Sigma males. Not from a place of ego, but from raw, unfiltered honesty. So watch this all the way to the end, because your silence might have been misunderstood, but your value never will be. And one day, they'll feel that truth, even if they'll never admit it. Number one, he was already whole without her. He never walked into her life needing saving. He didn't have holes in his soul waiting to be filled. He wasn't looking for someone to fix him, complete him, or give his life meaning. He already had that. He was whole before her, with her, and after her. And that's what made him so different from everyone else she'd known. While most guys tried to impress her to feel worthy, he didn't need to. He wasn't trying to be chosen. He was choosing himself every day. He didn't make her the center of his world, not because he didn't care, but because he had a world, a solid one with purpose, discipline, peace, and direction. She wasn't a crutch, she was a bonus. At first, it threw her off. She was used to men who lost themselves in relationships, who smothered, clung, and called it love. But he gave her space, he respected her freedom, and most of all, he never begged to be needed. That kind of emotional independence, it was unfamiliar and uncomfortable, because it meant she couldn't manipulate him with attention games or threats of leaving. So when she walked away, expecting him to chase, he didn't. He didn't break down, he didn't spiral, he just kept going, evolving, building, living. And now, as she looks around at guys who crumble without constant validation, she finally sees it. He was the only one who loved her from a place of strength, not weakness. He didn't need her to be whole. He wanted her, but never depended on her. And that changes everything. Because the only love that's truly healthy is the kind that comes from someone who's already solid on their own. Someone who says, I'm good either way, but I'd love to walk this path with you. She lost that. And now she finally understands what she had, only after it's gone. Number two, he never begged, which made his absence feel like punishment. He never begged, not once. When things fell apart, he didn't send desperate texts or make emotional pleas. No social media rants, no public breakdowns, no trying to guilt her into staying. He just vanished, quietly, without a trace. And that's what makes losing him so damn haunting. Because when someone begs, there's still a chance to fight back, to argue, to hold on. But when the Sigma male disappears without a word, it feels like a slow, silent punishment. His absence isn't just empty space, it's a loud, deafening message. No drama means no closure, no explanations, just a void where he used to be. And that void, it's heavier than any shouted fight or tearful goodbye. It forces her to face the cold truth. He walked away without needing her to chase. That level of calm detachment, it's confusing, painful, and brutal all at once. It tells her he's moved on, not out of spite, but because he never depended on her to feel whole. He didn't stay for validation. He stayed by choice. And when he left, it wasn't because he was broken. It was because he was free. So every time she looks for signs, texts him, or wonders why he's not fighting harder, the silence slaps her harder than any words ever could. It's the kind of absence that echoes in your mind at 2 a.m., the kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew. No begging, no drama, just a clean break, and a quiet reminder that sometimes the most powerful message is the one left unsaid. Number three, He didn't need her, plain and simple. At first she thought his independence meant he didn't care, that he was distant, cold, or maybe just not into her enough, but the brutal truth, he wasn't desperate. He didn't hang around out of need or insecurity, that kind of self-possession. It's magnetic, it's addictive. Once you've been with someone who doesn't beg for attention or validation, who stands steady without leaning on you, it changes the game. She wanted him more because he wasn't chasing her. He wasn't trying to prove anything. His calm confidence made her question everything else she thought she wanted. Now that he's gone, she realizes how rare that kind of man is, the kind who's whole on his own, who chooses to be with you not because he can't live without you, but because he wants to. It's a level of strength most people don't understand until it's missing, and when it's gone, the void is deafening. She mistook his independence for indifference, but deep down she craves it. Because real connection isn't about neediness, it's about two whole people choosing each other freely. And that's why losing him, it hurts like hell. Because she lost the one man who never needed her, but somehow made her feel needed in the truest way possible. Number 4, she can't replace him, only try to distract herself. She can go out, meet new people, swipe endlessly and talk to guys who seem charming, funny, spontaneous, the full package on paper. But there's a silent comparison running in the back of her mind. And none of them measure up to him. Not really, not where it counts. Because the Sigma male wasn't just nice. He was present in a way that wasn't performative. He didn't flatter her to get something. He didn't rush intimacy. He didn't play dumb to keep things light. He offered depth, real, rare, and a little intimidating. Conversations with him weren't just about likes and dislikes. They dove into uncomfortable truths, hidden dreams, old scars. And she didn't have to pretend with him. That kind of connection, it's not replaceable. It's a one-time frequency you either catch or lose forever. Now she's out there, surrounded by guys who say all the right things but never mean them, who text non-stop but say nothing of value, who crack jokes but never ask her how her soul's doing. And whether she admits it or not, there's a void. See, the Sigma male didn't just stand out because of what he said or did. He stood out because of what he didn't need. He didn't need attention. He didn't need approval. He didn't need her to be anything other than real. And once she tasted that level of emotional honesty, everything else started to feel fake, or worse, empty. So she distracts herself, travels, posts selfies, laughs louder, dates someone new, but deep down, she's comparing. And she knows he wasn't perfect, but he was genuine. And no matter how far she runs or how many faces she entertains, that kind of depth doesn't show up twice. She didn't lose a man. She lost a frequency she may never tune into again. Number 5, she got used to his stability. At first she thought he was just too calm, too quiet, too steady. There were no wild fights, no jealous outbursts, no dramatic highs and lows. Just a man who kept his peace, even when things got tense. A man who didn't try to control her, didn't argue to win, and didn't spiral over nonsense. And back then, she mistook that calm for boring. Because let's be honest, when you've been trained by chaos, peace feels unfamiliar. Predictability feels like a letdown. She got so used to men who were exciting for all the wrong reasons, unavailable, unstable, or just full of drama, that she couldn't recognize emotional mastery even when it was right in front of her. The Sigma male didn't react to games. He observed. He didn't chase validation. He moved with self-respect. He didn't raise his voice to be heard. He spoke with clarity, and if that wasn't enough, he'd simply walk away. That level of restraint isn't weakness, it's discipline, and she had it, until she didn't. Now she's dealing with men who make her feel like she has to earn peace. One minute they're all in, the next they're ghosts. One wrong word, and everything blows up. It's emotional whiplash. And suddenly that calm, boring guy starts looking like a luxury she didn't know she had. Because real men who master themselves don't come around often. The ones who can sit in discomfort without lashing out. The ones who make you feel safe without saying a word. The ones who don't need to prove they're strong because their silence already says it all. She didn't just lose a guy. She lost a rare kind of balance. The kind that only exists in a man who's already fought his inner battles and won. Number 6. He was her wake-up call, not her warm blanket. He didn't baby her. He didn't whisper comforting lies just to keep the peace. He didn't nod along when she was clearly in the wrong, just to avoid an argument. That's not who he was, and she knew it. From the very beginning, he was different. The Sigma male wasn't her warm blanket, he was her wake-up call. He made her think. He questioned her excuses. He made her face parts of herself she'd spent years avoiding. When she tried to play the victim, he didn't hand her sympathy. He handed her clarity. Not because he didn't care, but because he did. And caring, to him, didn't mean letting her stay stuck. It meant pushing her to level up, even if she hated him for it at the time. While other men showered her with validation and fake support, he stood quietly in truth. While others said, "You're perfect," he said, "you could be better, but that's up to you." And she felt something different when he said it. It stung, but it stuck. Back then, she didn't realize what he was doing. She thought he was being cold, harsh, maybe even arrogant. But now, surrounded by people who only tell her what she wants to hear, she misses him. Not for his affection, but for his honesty, his strength, his refusal to let her live a lie, even if it cost him the relationship. And that's the brutal truth most women learn too late. The Sigma male didn't come into their life to comfort them. He came to wake them up, to shake them out of their emotional autopilot, to show them what real growth, real self-awareness, and real love actually looks like. And once you've experienced that kind of fire, the world of soft lies and fake smiles just doesn't feel the same. Number 7, he didn't flatter. He refined her. Most guys play it safe. They compliment her looks, her style, her smile. They say she's perfect just the way she is, even when she's clearly not okay inside. It's not love, it's flattery. It's surface-level approval dressed up as support. But the Sigma male, he didn't hand out compliments like candy. He wasn't trying to win her. He was trying to wake her up. Being around him didn't feel like a fairy tale. It felt like being under a microscope, not in a harsh, critical way, but in a way that exposed her to herself. He saw through her excuses. He noticed the contradictions. He didn't clap for every little thing. He asked why. He made her think before she spoke. He challenged the way she moved through the world. At the time, she didn't appreciate it. She thought he was emotionally distant, too blunt, even cold. She mistook refinement for rejection. Because when you're used to being pampered by guys who fear losing you, it's hard to understand a man who's not afraid to call out your blind spots. But what she didn't realize then was he wasn't trying to tear her down. He was sharpening her. Now she looks around and sees the pattern. Men who worship her, but don't see her. Men who praise her, but never push her. And suddenly that lack of pressure feels like neglect. She misses the man who didn't flatter her but elevated her. The man who made her want to level up, not just feel good. Because deep down, every strong woman knows what you really crave isn't a cheerleader, it's a mirror. A mirror that reflects not just who you are, but who you're capable of becoming. And that's what the Sigma gave her, not praise, not fairy dust, just realness, and a standard that still haunts her. Number 8, he moved on without the need for revenge. He didn't block her, didn't stalk her stories, didn't post cryptic quotes about healing or loyalty. He didn't try to make her jealous with staged photos or fake happiness. He didn't even bother with silence as a weapon. The Sigma male didn't play the game. He walked away from the board. When it ended, he didn't spiral. He ascended, quietly, cleanly, with no need to prove anything. Because for Sigma males, revenge isn't about making someone feel bad. It's about becoming someone even they wouldn't recognize anymore. Not in a flashy look-at-me way, but in that quiet, unnerving, how did he level up so fast kind of way. And that's what eats at her now. Not what he said, but what he didn't. While she might have expected drama, closure, or even one last emotional tug of war, he gave her nothing but stillness. And in that stillness, a mirror, not of his pain, but of her choices. Most people try to win the breakup, not him. He let her go, then turned all that energy inward, into his fitness, his craft, his money, his mind. She watches from a distance, scrolling in silence, seeing a man who isn't broken, but reborn. And it hits differently when the person you thought would chase you never even looked back. See, the Sigma male's power is detachment. Not apathy, but discipline. He felt everything. He just didn't act from it. He didn't need to hurt her to feel strong. His healing wasn't a show, it was transformation. Now she realizes she wasn't forgotten. She was outgrown. And that truth, that's the one that haunts her most. Number 9. She realized too late. He never lied to her. At first, she thought he was being difficult, too honest, too direct. She mistook his clarity for cruelty, his silence for coldness, and his truth for criticism. But here's the thing. He never lied to her, not once. No sugarcoating, no fake smiles, no empty promises to keep her around. Just raw, unfiltered truth, even when it stung. And back then, she didn't want that. She wanted comfort. She wanted compliments. She wanted someone to say what she felt like hearing, not what she needed to know. So when he challenged her, when he held up a mirror instead of a mask, she pulled away. She called him distant, too hard to love, maybe even arrogant. But now? Now she's surrounded by guys who tell her exactly what she wants to hear. You're perfect, you're different. I've never met anyone like you. It felt good at first, like a high, but now it feels hollow. Because deep down she knows none of them really see her. They see a version of her that's easy to please and easy to keep, not the version that grows, not the one that evolves. And that's when it hits her. He was the only one who had the guts to really see her, to say, "You're better than this," to challenge her when she was slipping, to tell her the truth, even if it cost him the relationship. That kind of honesty, it's rare. And when she finally understands that, it's already too late. The Sigma male didn't lie, didn't flatter, and didn't pretend. He loved her enough to be real. And now that she's living in a world of filters, shallow praise, and emotional shortcuts, she'd give anything to go back to a love that didn't coddle her, but called her out. Not because he wanted control, but because he wanted her to wake up. And she finally has, just not in time. Number 10, he gave her mental freedom, not just emotional support. Most guys offer emotional support by saying what they think she wants to hear. You're right, he was wrong. You deserve better. And sure, that feels good in the moment. But the Sigma male, he didn't just hand out comfort, he gave her clarity. He didn't tell her what she wanted, he told her what she needed, even if it stung. He challenged her thinking, asked the questions no one else dared to ask. Why do you keep repeating the same pattern? What part of this are you avoiding? Is this really what you want or what you've been told to want? He wasn't trying to hurt her, but to wake her up. He didn't speak to her ego, he spoke to her potential, and that's what set him apart. See, the Sigma male doesn't babysit emotions, he respects them, but he won't let you get stuck in them. He knows real growth happens when someone pushes past comfort and steps into truth. So while everyone else was trying to make her feel better, he was making her stronger. And at the time, she may not have realized what a gift that was. Now she's surrounded by nice guys who nod at everything she says, who avoid conflict, who never challenge her, never say no, never dig deeper. And slowly it starts to feel suffocating, because deep down she knows growth doesn't come from endless agreement. It comes from being seen fully and still being held accountable to who you could become. The Sigma male wasn't just support. He was freedom, the kind that liberates your mind, not just your heart. And when you've had that, when you've been around someone who loved you enough to tell the truth, you can't unfeel that impact. Now she craves conversations that cut through the fog, but he's gone. And all that's left? Noise. Number 11, she didn't lose a man, she lost her mirror. She didn't just lose a man, she lost her mirror. Sigma males aren't the kind to feed you sweet lies or inflate your ego with empty compliments. Instead, they reflect the real, raw version of you. Not the version you want to see, but the version you need to face. They hold up that mirror with brutal honesty, no filters, no sugarcoating, because they know growth only comes from truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. When he was there, she had clarity. She saw herself in ways no one else could show her. The good, the bad, and everything in between. And yes, it hurt sometimes, but it also pushed her to be better, stronger, smarter, more authentic. Now that he's gone, that mirror is shattered. The truth she used to face head-on is replaced by vague reflections, distorted by flattery and empty words. Suddenly, the person she thought she knew feels distant, blurry and uncertain. Without him, the rare clarity that challenged her, grounded her, and made her evolve disappears too. Most people can't handle that kind of honest reflection, which is why so many walk away from Sigma males. But those who do regret it deeply. Because losing him means losing a rare kind of vision, a chance to really see yourself beyond the illusions. She didn't just lose a man. She lost the sharp, unfiltered truth that made her wake up, and the rare kind of mirror that forces real change. And that kind of loss, it's not easy to replace or forget. Number 12, his silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. Most people assume silence means weakness. That if someone doesn't argue back, it's because they've got nothing to say or don't know how to express themselves. That's what she thought too, until he was gone. The Sigma male doesn't speak to win arguments. He speaks to be understood. And if the conversation starts turning into chaos, guilt trips, or emotional drama, he doesn't scream. He steps back. Not because he's afraid, not because he doesn't care, but because he knows energy is precious and he refuses to waste it on battles that go in circles. She mistook his silence for emotional distance. She thought, why won't he just fight for me? What she didn't realize was he was fighting. But not with shouting matches or constant explanations. He was fighting to protect his peace, to avoid feeding a toxic loop, to stop things from getting worse. While others blow up phones with texts and angry voice notes, the Sigma male simply disappears into stillness. And now, that stillness haunts her. Because now she sees how rare it was to be with someone who didn't need to prove himself in every disagreement, someone who didn't turn love into a power struggle. She's surrounded now by loud men, talkers, arguers, performers, but none of them can do what he did, bring silence that felt like safety. His silence wasn't weakness. It was his way of saying, I value my peace more than proving a point. And that kind of silence, once it's gone, you never forget it. In final words, some people only realize what they had once it's gone. And with Sigma males, that truth hits harder than most. If you're watching this and identify as a Sigma male, know this. You are rare, not because you try to be, but because you simply are. Your quiet strength, your refusal to play games, and your fierce independence make you a force most won't understand, and many will regret losing. You don't need to change for anyone. You don't have to explain your way of being. That's your power. The world might try to label you as distant or complicated, but in reality, you're a man who values depth over drama, truth over flattery, and freedom over possession. To the Sigma males out there, keep standing in your truth. The right people will see your worth, even if many won't. Your presence changes lives, not because you force it, but because you live on your own terms. And to everyone watching, if you want to truly understand why losing a Sigma male leaves a mark no one else can fill, watch this video all the way through. There's brutal honesty ahead, but also respect for what it really means to be a Sigma male. Because sometimes the hardest truths are the most valuable lessons. Don't blink, don't skip, let's dive in. Thank you for watching. God bless you.